So what's going on, guys? Let me make sure I have all my
Have you ever been declined for a credit card due to poor credit?
audio
Download Cashapp
working.
is a new way to credit and get a credit card.
Mic check. There we go. We're all good. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. A good Monday. Mondays are tough whenever you have a 9 to 5 job. Having a long weekend, especially if you watch some football, relax a little bit. The weekends tend to make you lazy and make you kind of like be slow to start up on your Mondays. So hopefully you guys are having a good Monday. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. Had some wild football games if you guys are into football. But on today's live stream, you guys see the title, Low Standards in Our Society. We're going to talk about all the ways that our society is collapsing in its standards. We used to have high standards as a society. We used to be the cream of the crop. But recently, in recent years, we're steadily declining in our standards. And it's going to hurt everybody in the society. But before we get into the low standards thing, there's a few clips that I want to talk about. And eventually I'll get StreamYard up and we can um, see these different clips live. And as the Amazon guy just hits my door, um, there's 3 different clips that are wild that I need to talk about before we get into the low standards thing. So if you watch this on the replay and if you're currently in here, just please hit the like button. The first thing I want to talk about, the first clip. So there's a rainbow guy that had a video recently. One of the content creators that I watch, he posted this video and it was a very interesting title. So I clicked on it because the title was so wild that I had to check it out. Right. So I click on the title and 5 minutes in, I'm literally in shock. So there's a rainbow guy, and you guys know what rainbow means. There's a video of him talking about he is still having sex with HIV. Let that sink in for a second. The wild part, it gets worse. The wild part that really caught my attention, and this just goes to show you guys where we are going as a society. This guy sat up on that video and he stated out of his mouth that he is entitled to condomless sex. I don't think you guys heard what I said. He's has HIV. He's still sexually active. And he says he's entitled to have condomless sex. I don't know what's more idiotic. Him going unprotected with the disease or the people that are having sex with him, because in the video he stated that he's warning these people that he has this condition, yet these people are still going along with it. Complete and utter idiocracy on everybody involved. Entitled to condomless sex. You know what? If you can't beat them, join them, right? Next time you have an interaction with a woman, she tells you to put a condom on, you tell her, I'm entitled to condomless sex. Entitled. Now, in another clip that I'll examine in a second, this entitlement behavior in our society is killing it. And we have a woman that I'm going to get to that said some just as even more wild stuff when it comes to entitlement. Next. So I don't know if you guys know who Graham Stephan is. I follow a lot of his videos. He's very, I would say, informative when it comes to financial advice. His advice is very sound and it makes sense. And from time to time, I'll go over there and look at his videos and see what he's saying about the housing market or about the Fed hikes or um, crypto. It could be anything. He does a lot of different financial videos. Recently, he was on a podcast. It was Valuetainment uh, with I forget his first name, but they call him RBD. I think it's Roger. Bet David, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but he's on this podcast, and RBD is asking him, a series of questions, and he gets over to this one question, and this one question has Graham stumbling. And as a financial analyst, as a real estate person that does sales and talks quite a bit to other people, I figured he would be quicker on his feet when it comes to the question that he asked. So, in case you guys don't know about RBD, whenever he asks certain questions, he wants you to pick a side. He's not with the balanced stuff. He's not with the playing the fence and the middleman. He wants you to pick a side, which makes sense. I get it. As a man, you have to stand for something at some point. You can't just play the middle all the time. And this is why, this is another point. A lot of you guys have favorite celebrities, favorite athletes, favorite business people. Um, don't idolize anybody, guys. Because at the end of the day, you don't know them. They don't know you. You like what they do on the screen, whether it's an actor, a musician, or a business person. But you don't really know what they believe. You don't really know what they really think when they put a camera in their face. So RBD asked him a question, and the question was, in today's schooling system, in today's modern schooling system, would you rather a religion be taught in schools where you pledge to the flag and you pray and all those different types of things? Or would you rather it be full on rainbow ideology? And Graham couldn't answer the question directly, which is really appalling to me. I mean, at the end of the day, I know for the people that are straightforward and that know what they value in society, they would answer that correctly, not depending on which side you're on, right? But he couldn't pick a side. Now, granted, I figured, like most heterosexual men, I figured he would pick the religion piece because it makes more sense. But even if he picked the rainbow side, I would have been okay with that just as long as you pick a side. He couldn't pick a side. He says there needs to be a balance. I understand the argument of balance. Balance does need to be happen or does need to be implemented in certain things. But oftentimes, when it comes to humans, they typically go towards the extremes. So he's fumbling through this question. And so you can see that RBD is getting irritated because he's not picking a side. And I'm going to give you guys something that is a pet peeve of mine. And I understand why women hate this certain trait in men because it annoys the hell out of me too. A man that can't make a decision, a man that cannot be straightforward with what he wants, annoys the hell out of me. When you're hemming and hawing, uh, well, you're supposed to know who you are and know what you want and double down that ideology, what you believe in. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. But you're willing to stand on all 10. So RBD's getting irritated because Graham is playing the fence. And he asked him, "Are you Rainbow?" And Graham said, "I don't think so." You're a grown man making millions of dollars. How do you not know if somebody can make you and convince you to be Rainbow? Convince you to be anything. You're a grown, fully realized male. So after watching that video, my respect level for Graham Stephan kind of went down a little bit. Now, of course, he still makes good, decent videos, and I'm going to still watch those videos. But it's just going to be that. It's not going to be anything else because that really startled me as to why he couldn't answer a direct question. And it wasn't a hard question. And this is the thing about society right now. What's causing people to do that is because of this cancel culture. This cancel culture, they have a business, and I get it. They trying to not offend certain people. But guys, I'm gonna tell you some real stuff. Trying to please everybody is an exercise in futility. It's impossible. You're supposed to go around the people that like you, that believe in some similar things, not necessarily an echo chamber, but people that you respect, people's opinions that you respect, you like, and you're supposed to stay with them people. Trying to appeal to the masses will only further your problems. You're going to have to stick with a particular crowd within your niche, right? So just watching that, I just had to come in and give some commentary on that because we're getting to a state now where this is evidence of masculinity declining in the West. They can't even ask or can't even answer straightforward questions. So the next clip, and this one just shows you the delusion of the modern woman, the delusion of society when it comes to dating and expectations and unrealistic expectations when it comes to dating and relationships. So I'm scrolling through Instagram and I come across this video of this woman speaking, and she's on a podcast. I think she is um, I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was a part of the what is that podcast that all the women watch? I think it's Call Your Daddy. I think that's the podcast that this woman was on. I don't know if that podcast is still going. I don't give a shit. I don't even follow that craziness anymore. But this woman from that podcast is on a different podcast, and she's explaining to the interviewer her expectations of dating. And so she says one of the most delusional things ever known to man. What she said was so delusional, you have to question where she got this information from, where her thought process is even at. Like, are guys actually doing what she's saying? And if so, the simps are out of control. So she said in the interview that she's entitled to know what you have in your bank account because she only dates wealthy men. So she basically is saying, and she gave a preview, or she gave a demand, that when she goes on dates, she expects the guy to get the log, give her the login information to his bank account so she can check his bank account and see how much money he has in that account. The bar keeps getting set at an all-time low each and every day. It's getting to the point to where dating isn't even, it's just stupid, idiotic craziness. What woman on this planet is entitled to know the amount of money you have in your bank account on the first date? Think about the delusion of that for a second. Think about you guys watching, and some of you guys watching on the replay. Think about this for a second. You're on a date. You go to a date. You go through all the process. You get the number. You talk to her. You call her on the phone. If you're on a dating app, you call her on the phone. Make sure she's not a catfish. You set up the date. Then you go on a date, and you guys are just eating food, having a good time. And she says, "Well, I only date wealthy guys, and for us to continue seeing each other, you have to show me your bank account statements." Me personally, I would get up and leave immediately. And the craziness is, she keeps saying that she said that stuff so confidently, which lets me know there has to be some portion of the male population that is conceding to doing this to show her the receipts of their bank account, to show a woman that they barely even know sacred information. Guys, I can make a good argument that your wife, your girlfriend, shouldn't even know how much money you got. Letting people know how many resources that you have, or that you have accessible, only breeds envy, and it makes the other person organize a strategy to try to get those resources from you. All the different types of wars that have been fought, all the conflicts that we have as humans, most of them stem from lack of resources. So, knowing that information, why would I give this stranger on a date any access to what I know, to my net worth, my investments, my assets, my business, my accounts? Dating today is just stupid, idiotic craziness that is getting worse day by day by day by day. These modern humans are so out of touch with what reality is. It's disgusting. So now we can get into the low standards, which you guys came here for. Let me take a swig from the Fiji water. I just want to ask this question to you guys. Have you guys been noticing the low standards that are happening right in front of you in Western culture? Because it's happening at every level. I don't know if you guys have been aware of it, but I'm about to make you aware of it in right now. So how do you get to having low standards? How do you even get to this state? Right. And this is going to be some insightful information for you guys to gain and understand, because this insight cannot just be implemented with government or in a society. It can be implemented with your school. It can be implemented with your family, believe it or not. And I'm going to tell you why. There's always a person. If you guys look at governments, if you look at societies, there's a civil war that breaks out, a new order follows. And after that new order is made, the trajectory of the society goes up. They beat the world power. They've established a new system, prosperity, wealth, good economic prosperity or development is rising. Everything's going good in the first 2 to 3 stages. So you're trending upwards in a society. Then next, you kind of taper off. You kind of peak. Now people have an access of resources, access of buying power. They have access to credit. So what do? They over leverage themselves on credit. They buy things they don't need. They get slothful. They're not productive and as hungry as they were in the beginning stages after the new world order was set. They got comfortable, which causes your standards to drop. The key to life when it comes to grinding, hard work ethic, is to never get comfortable. You might get satisfied, which is okay, but comfortability, uh, laziness are tied to the same thing, which causes the over since people over leverage. This is how you guys get debt. This is how we get housing bubbles and all these different types of things every 10 to 15 years. It's human nature. Humans get comfortable too easy. It's human nature to procrastinate, to get lazy. This is why when people don't work for certain things and get it themselves, they can't respect it. They don't have any real skin in the game. See, the person in the family that was grinding, like this is why the second and third acts of a specific athlete don't normally exceed the first one. Because take a LeBron James for instance. He came from Akron. He was broke. He was poor. He was sometimes he was homeless. He was starving. So that hunger, that want to, made him grind and hustle 10 times harder. He had a why for why he wanted to get out and become a successful basketball player. She lived in a bad neighborhood, right? Now, once he grinds his way up and he's established himself and he's gotten himself into a good position, now he has children, Bronny James and I think Bryce Maximus or Junior, LeBron James Jr., which is Bronny. Do you guys really think that Bronny is going to supersede his father when they didn't come from the same struggle? Bronny was born into prosperity. LeBron was born poor. He had to fight and claw his way up to the top. Bronny doesn't have to climb his way up to the top. He has access to good trainers. He has money and resources. He didn't have to stand out as much. To people, he could lean on the name of his father. And I'm not saying you guys shouldn't have generational wealth or generational things, but this is why this comfortability makes legacies fumble. And now take that concept and apply it to society. We're not as productive as Americans as we used to be. Our culture, I've said this numerous times, our culture is so messed up that we don't even really have an American culture anymore. And I can tell you why. If you guys line up a white guy, black guy, Latino, Asian American, all of these Americans, and you ask them what the American dream is, what an American culture means to you, they will all have different answers. And that proves to you that our culture as America is non-existent. All this is playing into the low standards that we have as a society. Now, what are all the ways that low standards are being implemented in our society? That low standards are, um, what are all the ways and what are some of the examples of low standards within our society today? I mean, just look at the food quality. Look at our food quality. GMO, McDonald's, our quality of food is horrible right now. If you guys haven't read that book, Sugar, Salt, and Fat, that's going to give you some great insight to how addictive these products have gotten and how horrible they are and how they're leading to an obesity problem. Low standards. If you look at the exercise and you look at the people in the 1960s, there was a regimen that the males had to pass, that they had that be in peak condition as high schoolers. In today's society or in today's modern high school, it's filled with either skinny or overweight people. Quality is dropping, which leads to what? Body positivity. I'm gonna tell you guys some real stuff. I've never seen an overweight person that was truly happy with being overweight. I've never seen it. Now we have commercials of Victoria's Secret models that not only emphasize the women that are in great shape, but they overemphasize the women that are overweight as well. Lower standards when it comes to beauty. Recently, I was talking with my mother, and she's worked her way up in the corporate sides of things. Um, the younger generation does not want to conform to the dress codes of corporate America. Now, the whole purpose of you guys working for a corporation or working for a company is for you guys to submit to that culture, that business culture, while you're working there. You can't be an individual when there's a corporation or business culture that has to be implemented to make sure everybody's on the same page, doing the same things, and being successful at doing them. Why would you want to work in corporate America where you're professional, you wear suits? Why would you want to wear streetwear to work? I'm gonna ask you guys a real question. If a business guy that a financial advisor came up to you or a CPA came up to you and they didn't even look like they were business casual, would you take them seriously? Probably not. Education. We used to have high standards in education. I don't know what states you guys are from, but I'm from the state of Texas. And we used to have the task test. And if you did not make a 70 and up, you failed that grade. Now with the STAR test and all these different types of things, it's lowered the barrier of what you need to pass the next grade or be a part of the next grade. Even in colleges, D's sometimes can pass the class. Now, college is a little bit different because some of those classes are absolutely hard for no reason. If you've been to a Division I college, or even if you've been to a decent junior college, there are some classes that are just hard for no reason. And to be frank, it is what it is. But to lower the education standards to where it's just a satisfactory or unsatisfactory grades, to make a D passing in certain instances of easy classes, it's just lowering the standards of what it takes to be smart. And this is why we can't, as a country, this is why our education standards are not first. If I'm not mistaken, it's not even top 5 in the world when it comes to education. Evidence that our standards are dropping. Work performance. Guys, I don't know if you guys have recently been out and about or if you have service providers that provide a service for you. You've been to a restaurant, you have waitresses and waiters and all those different service providers. Whenever I see a younger person working or in charge of these service providers, I perceive it as a red flag. Why is that? The customer service is normally shitty. You try to reach out to get certain appointments set. You have a timeline, you have an appointment set for a particular time, and they're late, 30 minutes, an hour late, texting you all these damn excuses. And sometimes they don't even text you at all. service providing performance has completely lost its way. And I can't be the only one that sees this. We even see it in our entertainment. We see it in sports and music. The state of music is so terrible right now. You look at rap music, it's the same song over and over and over again. No real creativity, no real substance in the message. It's like I said earlier, it's gotten too comfortable. See, rap music in its beginning stages had a real purpose to it. They were scratching and clawing to try to make it mainstream, had real messages, had to be a wordsmith. You had to be intelligent, read some books, know some history in order to give certain metaphors and analogies. These modern rappers today can't even speak proper English. You don't even know what the hell they're saying half the time. Standards dropping. You see sports now. Football is a damn joke. You can't even hit the quarterback. You can't even hit and tackle the offense. See, back in the day, what made football so exciting, what made it so um, exciting to watch was the big hits. Now, you try to give a big hit on a quarterback, you try to give a big hit on anybody, a running back, a receiver, tight end, you're liable to get thrown out of the game for targeting. And some of you guys might be like, well, it's more safe that way. Well, guys, football is a gladiator sport. You can only make war so safe. It doesn't make any sense. Let the people play. They know what they signed up for. They know what they're getting. It's not a shock to anybody how the injuries can happen in football and in certain sports. Standards are dropping. Lastly, and most importantly, you see the standards dropping when it comes to relationships. I've recently come to a conclusion about the modern humans in the Western culture that uh, is quite startling for you guys, if you guys are my age or if you're a single person. Since we live in such a microwave society where people want things now, since they want things now and they're not willing to stick it through, that means they quit easily. You see relationships today. When you look at marriages, they tell you to love in the marriage vows in sickness and in health. Whenever you get into a marriage, you're vowing to love somebody from that point on and until the day they die. Today's people have no wherewithal, that amount of strength to stay in a relationship, and I'm not saying you should stay in a toxic relationship, but the whole point is to stay together in a relationship, in a friendship. But nobody wants to stick around long enough to value it for it to turn into something else. See, the reality of the situation is modern people quit relationships way too easy. Just flat out, just quit them. And you can tell they quit them because you can ask them why the relationship ended. Well, I wasn't happy. I didn't love myself. You even have songs like Selena Gomez where I had to lose you to love me. In the song, it states, I had to hate you in order to love me. Why do I need to hate you in order to love me? Why can't I just love me? And if I don't like you, if you're not doing the things that are conducive to a relationship, just leave a relationship. Why do you have to hate that other person to love yourself? Why do people get into relationships temporarily just for the heck of it? Why do people quit relationships so easily? As soon as there's a little bit of turbulence, as soon as there's a little bit of hard times, they're ready to throw in the towel completely. Low standards. About relationships. The conclusion that I've came to when it comes to relationships is that people don't really love like they want to love. People don't really love like they say they love. They just want to have passionate and pleasurable sex. That's all they want to do. After they get bored, they go looking around for the next person. Low standards in our society are harming it and collapsing it at every little point. Entertainment, education, labor, law, politics, sex, religion, economics. All of it is lower standard. And if it's lower standard, that means the barrier of entry is wide open. And nobody really respects an open barrier of entry. What's interesting about human nature, and this is why the concept of scarcity is so successful, is that everybody wants to be a part of something that's exclusive, that's not easily implemented, that's not easily a part of. It gives them some kind of superiority when it comes to certain things. Why wouldn't you have high standards for yourself? High standards for your society? That means competition and productivity are at its highest. It forces people to be productive. It forces people to be hardworking. It forces people to do the right things, to improve their lives, to improve their situation, to fight for what they believe in. Now, it's all crumbling right before our eyes. I feel like Mel Gibson in the movie When We Were Soldiers You guys remember that scene where they're in a firefight and Mel Gibson gets up from behind cover and he walks to the center of the battlefield and he's looking around. He looks straight, he looks to the side, he looks to that side, and he looks to the back, evaluating the situation. He then goes on the mic and he tells the guy, broken arrow. That's me. This is the reason why I came up with this channel. This is the reason why I do these videos, because I'm trying to warn everybody that we're going down a horrible path. If the country, if our society is a boat, there's holes at the bottom of the boat, right? See, I'm the passenger on the boat that felt a little turbulence in the water. I'm like, that's not normal. And so I go around looking for the hole or looking for the issue of why the boat did that, just to discover that there's a hole in the boat that we need to fix. And so I'm running up, trying to tell the other passengers of the boat that, hey, we have a leak. We need to fix the leak. And people on the boat are saying, nah, you're just lying. You made that up. Our society is collapsing right before our eyes. The signs are there, and people just cannot see it. And this is what's going to happen. Since people are procrastinators, they're going to wait till it hits their doorstep. But here's the thing. Once it hits your doorstep, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to be prepared in order to do something about it. You can't be reactive to everything in life. You have to have a plan. And so these people in our Western culture are going to wait until the thing comes to their house right in front of them where it's real and try to fix the problem, when in actuality, it will be too late. I appreciate you guys tuning in for this live stream. Hopefully this live stream gave you guys some critical information. I want to give you guys some accurate, precise information that can help you understand the world around you, help you understand and better your own life, right? Maybe you, out of this whole live stream, out of this whole 50-minute live stream, you only took one thing out. That's good enough for me. You learned something new that can help you on your journey in life. I just want to help you guys further your thinking process about the world around you, enlighten you to certain things and make you aware to certain things, because in our society, there's too many liars in the media. When there's a microphone in front of them, so many liars that it's hard to get accurate and informative information. And if you're a person like me, just tell me the real. I just want to know how to get to a certain level, the solutions to certain things, so I can fix it and get progress and move on. Right? So as I increase in my knowledge, as I increase in my experience, as I see certain things and observe certain things, I'm going to come online and drop either a video about it, a short video, a live stream about it or YouTube short about it, just to kind of give you guys some kind of insight to help you. Hopefully, over time, we can build a community of where we can just tell people the real about what's really going on in society that nobody else is willing to tell you. So that's my live stream, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys are watching on the playback, hit the like button. And if you guys have seen some of the things I'm talking about in today's society, comment your thoughts below. But you guys have a good rest of your Monday. And we'll see you again sometime this week. I might do a live stream either today or Wednesday. I know for sure I'll do another live stream this week. So you guys tune in. And yeah, man, that's it, man. I appreciate you guys watching. You guys have a good day. And we'll see you in the next one, man.